Hey folks, welcome back to the Rocking C Homestead. As you can see, it's time to go look at the bees. Hey folks, welcome back to the Rocking C Homestead. My name's Lance. I want to welcome you to our channel, and today is going to be my first time actually getting into the hive and really going through a full inspection of these things. I'm going to try to bring you guys along. I'm all by myself, so filming it and doing all those kind of things is going to be kind of tough, but I'm going to do my best, and hopefully I don't screw up too much. So I'm out of the hive here, and I'll start smoking the front of the hive with my bee smoker here. And I'm just trying to get it all around there, and then I start working around to the back side. Now that I got everything smoked, I'm going to try to crack into this top of this hive box. These bees really do have everything kind of glued down with the substance called propolis, and it's a bunch of like stuff they pick up from nature, and it's sometimes called bee glue, and they just glue everything down. You can see it on the top of this top board here. It's pretty substantial, and it's all the way through the hive, and it's just one of those things that you have to deal with here on beekeeping. Now, since I got the top cover off, I'm going to give it another good smoke in here, and then we're going to start working from the outside in. I'm going to pull some of the outside frames, and on this top box here, this is called a honey super, and I'm really looking for resources. So Are there nectar? Is there capped honey? Hopefully there's no queen up there laying eggs. You'll see here in a little bit I have a queen excluder to kind of keep her off of those frames up there, so there's no eggs being laid and those kind of things. So I'm really just looking for honey, pollen, nectar, those kind of things. Hopefully at one point later in the year we'll be able to pull that whole box out and just have a box full of honey at some point. As you can see, this was kind of a weird, this had kind of a two frames kind of stuck together. I didn't want to pull them apart just because I just didn't want to hurt the comb that was in there. So on this one side of this frame, you can see there's some capped honey in there, there's some nectar, and it looks like there may be some drone cells that they've had. And we've got this as a used hive, and some of the maybe there was some that was already laid up there before we put those into the honey super and put them up there. I'm going to send that over to my bee mentor and see if that's an issue having those. Looks like drone cells to me, but we'll see what he says. All right, so I looked at all the frames that I'm going to, and I'm just kind of getting them all fitted back in, kind of get them rearranged, make sure there's the spacing is correct on them. Because if you leave space in a beehive, the bees will fill it up, and not where you want them to put hive comb or any of that kind of stuff. So they will fill it up how they want to. So definitely want to make sure everything's spaced out correctly. And once I get this all spaced out, I actually lift it up and actually off the hive, and then we'll go down to the big deeps down below. All right, now since I got the honey super off, I'm just trying to detach this queen excluder, and you can see there's a ton of bees on it, so I'm trying to be really gentle and not disturb them too much. Again, this is my first time getting into the hives by myself, and a kind of a deep search in it, so I'm a little nervous, and just trying to be gentle and go slowly, have slow movements, and try not to mess up anything. And again, I'm going to hit them with a little bit of smoke. It doesn't hurt the bees. This is just kind of it just kind of settles them down, and maybe in a later video we'll talk more about what does smoking bees actually do to the bees. But for now, it just kind of calms them down, and I'm able to kind of work in here without a whole bunch of them up in my face. And these things are super glued in there. As you can see, I'm having a little difficult getting that first frame out. It's pretty tight in there, and I'm just trying to get everything separated. These bees glue these frames into these boxes pretty well. It's pretty amazing how much work they put into this stuff. What I'm looking for when I get into this box is I'm looking for resources, and a little bit different than what was in the honey super. You know, I do want to see some pollen, some nectar. You know, if there's honey, that's great. But really what I want to look for is brood. So is there any babies being laid? Are there any eggs? Are there larvae? Or have they been capped? And what's kind of the status of that? So as we start getting into these frames, this is where the kind of like the birthing chamber is for the beehive. So let's see what this first frame has. I'm not expecting too much on this outside frame. So this is the frame that's on the outside, closest to the wall of the hive. And you see there's not much on there. Now on the inside of that one, there's a lot of pollen. And I don't know if you can see that in the film there or not, but there's some shiny parts, and that's some nectar in there that hasn't been capped over for honey. So that's a good frame for some resources for the bees. That's bee food, and that's a lot of protein for them. So that's pretty much what they eat. You know, they eat pollen and those kind of things for protein, and they use the nectar for carbohydrates, and then that all turns into wax and honey and all those other things that the bees need to have a successful hive. So on this frame, there's not much. This one wasn't already drawn out with comb, with honeycomb or that kind of stuff. So the bees are just kind of slowly working on filling it, as you can see here on the bottom. That's actually at the top of the frame, but they're just trying to fill that out, get some honeycomb built. So as I continue going through this hive, you know, I make sure that I get at the smoker, make sure I smoke the bees, smoke myself. At this point I had bees flying all around my face, and you can kind of see that in the camera a little bit. They're not getting aggressive, those kind of things, but it definitely is a little bit alarming, especially when you're not used to it. But just give them a little bit of smoke and they seem to calm down. But just looking at this one frame from the top, you could tell it was going to be a heavy frame. And as I start pulling it out, you can really feel the weight of it. And this thing has just some of the most beautiful brood, capped brood, all the way across both sides of the frame. It is just spectacular. So as you can see here, there's just tons of bees on it, and this thing is almost completely full of capped brood. So this means that, you know, depending on when these were capped, you know, those things are going to be those babies are going to be hatched, and the little baby bees will come out, and that's just going to add to the hive itself, and that's what we're looking for. This next frame is just the same. It is fairly heavy, and it has a really good brood pattern to it. You can tell that some of the brood is already hatched, and they just haven't went back in and laid eggs in it. It's not as solid as the other one there, but you can see there's definitely a good amount of brood and a good amount of bees working that brood. So super happy with this. A little bit of drone cells in there, but that's good. all those little queen cups, what looks like queen cups. I've looked through there. I didn't see any kind of eggs or royal jelly or any of those kind of things that may indicate there's another queen about to be born. So I'm on one of the last frames on this box I'm going to look at here, and I'm about to make a huge mistake. As you can see here, I'm going to start showing it on the other camera so you can get a little close up. This one had some pollen, and it had some other resources, maybe a little bit of nectar. But what I didn't realize was I was going to slip out of my hand and hit the top of the box, of the other hive box, and it dumps the entire frame of bees, it felt like, all over the ground and everything. And those guys were super pissed off at me. As you can see in the film here, the bees are just everywhere, and they were not very happy with me. So at this point, I start kind of just, I still try to stay calm, just try to stay cool, and just trying to make slow motions, and just try to make sure that one of the things I wanted to make sure is I didn't have a queen. I didn't think that she was in there. I think she was in the box below after looking through everything. So far the hive seemed to be going good. So I didn't hurt anything. It just was a little nerve-wracking when all the bees started swarming around my face. As I continue with the hive, I'm just putting this one back in order, getting everything spaced out properly. I'm going to move this off to the side and start working on the one below. Very pleased with how much resources are in this top box, or in the middle box actually, I guess it was. But very pleased with it. Felt like I had a lot of brood. So this frame here that we're going to look at, it is pretty nice, pretty heavy. Got some good brood in it. Got a little bit of pollen. It's got some honey. It's got a little bit of everything. And those bees are just working it, man. It's amazing how much work they put into this. Since it is still pretty early here in spring in Oklahoma, I am feeding the bees, which is a simple syrup mixture of water and sugar, so 1-to-1. And there's a frame in there at the very end. You can't really see it from this angle, but where I'm smoking, I'm trying to get the bees up and out of the area. There's a whole bunch kind of right by the edge of it, and it's just kind of an open frame. This one's kind of an open frame with a piece of metal in there to let the bees kind of crawl in and out of it without them drowning. But as you can see here, I'm filling this up. I also have something similar to those in the other frame or the other hive back there and behind me. And here in a little bit, I'm going to start going through that one as well. But I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just looking for resources. I'm going to make sure that, do we have pollen? Do we have nectar? Is there honey being made if there's a honey super? Or is there honey in the other frames as well? Are there brood? Are there larvae? Are there eggs? Larvae, I should say, eggs. And if I can I find the queen? So that's what we're looking for. And so far, super happy with this hive inspection, other than the one mishap. But as you can see, the bees are still very angry at me. So I'm just going to go through this other one pretty quick and not really show you guys too much of it. I'm just trying to get these guys settled in. And as you can see, I'm trying to pick up a few bees that are still straggling on the ground here, just in case I may have something there. And I'm just going to put them right back on the, just kind of put them right back there. Someone will fly up and get reorientated, and then come back and land and go right back in there. Well, that was definitely interesting. Had one big rookie mistake there, made the bees super mad at me, but thank goodness I didn't get stung anywhere that wasn't in a glove or in somewhere else. But yeah, so overall I thought the beehives looked really good for what I can tell. They have resources, they have plenty of brood, they have plenty of larvae going in there. So definitely would like to get my bee mentor's opinion about a couple things, but I think overall they're doing really good. I'm gonna see if I can get him out here and see if he'll just do an inspection with me, just to make sure I know kind of what I'm looking for, to make sure that I'm not missing something. But so far they look really, really well. And they're doing really well, I should say. So hopefully that will continue. And again, guys, I'm a super new beekeeper. Like these guys have been here maybe for 2 weeks, and I've fed them a couple times and done a little bit of inspection, kind of looking at this or that. This is my first time going through all the frames, and super interesting dealing with bees and seeing what they can do and how much they can actually just work and get stuff done is amazing. So hopefully we're going to bring back a lot more bee videos for you guys, watching this rookie go through his first bee season. And really, I'm super pleased with them, and I just hope that they continue, and you guys are going to see many, many more bee videos here at the Rocking C Homestead. So make sure that you subscribe, ring that bell so you get notified every time a video comes out. And of course, from our homestead to yours, have a blessed day, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye.